Bret Bielema takes over at Arkansas, has a rough start, but most people expected that because he had to overhaul the roster. The team took off 3 consecutive years and added wins to the win total and really took off against the SEC West, had a 5-3 campaign a couple years ago in the SEC. But maybe they've hit a ceiling. Your thoughts about Arkansas coming into 2017?
Yeah, I think there's pressure on Bret Bielema this year. I think he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC in Austin Allen. I think the problem with Arkansas overall is twofold. You look at their losses last year, they had 6 of them, got blown out by Texas A&M, got blown out by Alabama, got blown out by LSU, got blown out by Auburn. I mean, really did not play well against the other teams within the SEC West. And you're talking about a coach that lost 2 double-digit halftime leads at the end of the year to both Missouri and Virginia Tech in the bowl game. I mean, you're talking about a team that led Missouri 24-7 at the half to lose that ball game 28-24, and then had a 24-0 halftime lead in the Belt Bowl to see them lose 35-24 the way they did to end the 2016 season. I don't think there's any way you can't say Bret Bielema is on the hot seat, especially after the early success that he had in his first couple of years there, in terms of after he finally broke through with an SEC victory. A lot of expectations on that team in 2015. They sort of looked like they were going in the right direction, and then they take a step back last year in 2016. I think there's no way that Bret Bielema is not on the hot seat, especially when you look at the success of some of the other teams in the SEC West, obviously like Alabama, the success of LSU with Ed Orgeron last year, and now the pressure on Auburn and Gus Malzahn, and the pressure on Kevin Sumlin. The pressure's got to be on Bret Bielema as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that they had taken major strides when Bielema knocked off Ole Miss and LSU at the end of the season, in which they beat Texas in the Texas Bowl and finished 7-6, and then they come back the next year. And I had mentioned the 5-3 finish in the SEC, and despite some early losses, including Toledo, they really rallied, looked strong, won another bowl game against Kansas State, and then last year. What speaks to me, when you lose a double-digit lead, or like you said, a 17-point lead against Mizzou, and then especially against Mizzou, you cannot contend in the SEC West, be losing games to Missouri. Then after that, in the Belk Bowl against Virginia Tech, that speaks coaching issues. When you can't hold on to 3 and 4 touchdown leads against, in one case, inferior competition, that's a huge issue. And Arkansas inherently has an issue competing in the SEC Western Division because they've got to go out of state for most of their best players, unlike Texas A&M, Alabama. Even Mississippi has great talent, just not great numbers of players because of the limited population, but everybody else can stay in state and attract great football players. Very few great football players playing high school football in Arkansas, and that's sometimes an issue.